Welcome to the Healthy Living series of classes. I'm so glad you're here. This is a struggle near and dear to my heart. I first realized my addiction to sugar when I was in my late 20s, and I took my first steps into understanding about how to overcome. But like any addiction, it took many tries and repeats to eventually come to terms with my addiction. Find out how I turned my foe into my friend at the end of this class. Now, I bet these are what you think of when I say sugar addictions, but I'm going to surprise you here in a minute, so hang on. This is going to be enlightening. So, you don't have a sweet tooth, okay, but you crave bagels, you crave salty chips, you crave French fries. These starchy foods are complex carbs, and that they break down in your bodies into simple sugars. When not eaten in combination with fibers and good fats, starches can make your blood sugar surge and crash, just like refined sugars. White rice and white flour do this as well. Highly refined starches like white breads, pretzels, crackers, and pastas are some of the worst. So now ask yourself, am I a sugar addict? Agave nectar, high fructose corn syrup, molasses, malt syrup, lactose, dextrose, glucose, fructose, maltitol, sugar in the raw, honey, brown sugar, cane sugar. All of these I'm sure you've probably heard of before, and I didn't mention them all, but sugar is sugar. It will still spike your blood sugar internally, and it will still give you the crash. It will still lead you down the path of addiction. There have been some studies that suggest that sugar is as addictive as cocaine. Sugar, once consumed, creates dopamine and opioid release inside your brain. These are those feel-good chemicals. And people who have anxiety, depression, or are under a great deal of stress consistently are absolutely more prone to become addicted to sugar because of this. Now, according to the American Heart Association, a woman should have no more than 6 teaspoons or 24 grams of sugar a day, and men shouldn't have more than 9 teaspoons or 37 grams of sugar a day. Now, that's pushing it. That's on the high side. According to the Addiction Center, approximately 75% of Americans eat an excessive amount of sugar on a daily basis, many of whom are classified as having a sugar addiction. Okay, so now teaspoons, grams, let's put all of that into real food talk. Remember those numbers, 25 grams or 24 grams for a woman and 37 for a man. How many grams of sugar do you think are in just one regular, not stuffed, because we all know we love those stuffed Oreos, but one regular Oreo? 6.5 grams. And that's about the same in a small plain bagel. Yoplait strawberry yogurt contains 19 grams of sugar. One can of Coke contains 10.5 grams of sugar, and a cup of Honey Nut Cheerios contains 12 grams of sugar. Well, you get the gist of it. So remember that women are supposed to have less than 25 grams a day and men less than 37 grams a day. Now understand that low fat or fat-free or reduced fat does not mean sugar-free. In fact, if you're going to indulge in sugar, you should put some fat and fiber with that. That way, it will not spike your blood sugar as fast and you won't have such an intense crash or low when your body does go through that cycle of processing those sugars. As a general rule, berries are of the lowest in the fructose carrying fruits. So try a blue one, A red one, a cran. But if you're going to do a cranberry, make sure it's without sugar. Or strawberry. And another great alternative is dehydrated or freeze-dried fruits. These are one of the best alternatives to candies, as long as there's no added sugar. Now, craisins is one of those very good examples of dried fruits, but it has a ton of added sugar. Read the labels of your foods, of your dressings. Find out where those sugars are hiding. Now, I'll share some with you here, but if you're serious about this addiction, you are going to need to find some time to read your labels. It's in your barbecue sauce. It's in your salad dressings. It's in your salty crackers, your bread, your baked beans. In fact, almost all non-vegetable canned items have sugar added. Granola and granola bars are some of the highest in added sugars as well. Now, according to WebMD, some artificial sweeteners can actually leave you wanting more. Now, I'm going to list the 5 FDA approved sweeteners. Those are sunnet or asasulfame potassium, aspartame, also known as Nutrici or Equal, sucralose, known as Splenda, D-tagatose, which is also known as Sugar-E, and saccharin, known as Sweet and Low. And these are anywhere from 20 to 300 times sweeter than regular sugar. Now, although stevia is not an FDA-approved artificial sweetener, this is a sweetener of my choice. I like it because it comes from the leaf of a plant, and as long as it's not processed too much, to me, that's the best natural artificial sweetener I can get. As in everything, moderation is key here. So if you need to sweeten that morning or afternoon drink, do it. Do it with your choice of artificial sweetener, mine being stevia, instead of regular sweetener. That, if you do that, you're going to save a bunch of calories and grams of sugar by the end of every day. What happens if I don't get help with this? All right, not only will you end up driving yourself crazy because all you'll be able to think about is your next fix, and I know that firsthand, you might become obese. Now, diabetes isn't caused directly by the intake of sugar, but it is a common side effect of sugar addiction. It can also cause cardiovascular disease, high triglycerides, and bad cholesterol, and it can also lower your good cholesterol. In nature, sugar is found surrounded by fiber in sugar cane and fruits. It comes naturally in a container that produces a shorter blood sugar response and aids in fullness. Today's sugars are refined and concentrated. Adding fiber and fats in with your sugars can give you that feeling of being full, signaling to your brain that you don't need anything else. Protein will not spike your blood sugar. Fiber gives you more energy. So, what are those good fats and fibers? Let's list them. Lean meats, chicken, turkey, a lot of seafood is great lean meats. Low fat yogurts. This is going to be your Greek yogurts, and it has to be unsweetened, or you can sweeten it with your artificial sweetener. Eggs are good. Nuts are great. Chia, hemp hearts, nut butters. If you want to be a super sugar fighter, then do some combos like a nut butter with apple slices, or deviled eggs is a combo in and of itself, or oats with one of those berries we talked about earlier that are unsweetened. If you combine these 3 macronutrients, these are the macronutrients: carbohydrates, protein, and fat, you are going to do well in keeping your blood sugar from spiking. All right, cold turkey is a proven method to be a great at failing. So if you want to fail, quit cold turkey, because eventually you're going to come back to those sugar cravings, especially when it comes to the brain and its proven pathways. Let someone hold your hands as you take these first steps. This is where a wellness coach comes in, and I'm happy to be that person for you if you like. You can eat more fruits and veggies. Those are baby steps. And of course, I'm always going to tell you drink more water because that's my answer for almost everything. Every time you choose to cut out just a little bit more sugar every day is a step in the right direction. Get outside when the weather permits. It is amazing what a breath of fresh air can do for your sense of addiction. This brings me to another thing to think about. If your natural daily patterns have included and do include refined sugar at breakfast, lunch, dinner, as well as your snacks in between, then you are going to need to make a new map for yourself. Find new routines. You can find many daily routine sources on the web, in social media sites, but if you would like personal help, reach out to a wellness coach or your provider for assistance. So back to my story as I promised. I used a book called The Diet Cure back in my 20s, which is all about amino acids and how they can affect your well-being, including sugar addictions. And I also use an herb called Gymnema sylvestre. It is a taste modulator that inhibits the ability of sucrose and other sugars to activate sweet receptors on the tongue. The effect is dramatic, reliable, more importantly, reversible, and provides an effective demonstration of several important principles of your gustatory sensation. You will find both of these items on my Healthy Living Resources page in my blog. Now, do I still indulge in an occasional lolly or piece of cake? Of course I do. I have kids after all. But now I do this while being mindful of my reactions, and I can think about taking that second piece of cake before just mindlessly shoving it into my mouth. I understand my relationship with sugar, and as I always say, knowledge is power. It is the key to creating the life you want to live. Once you are in control, life will be all the sweeter. Now, if you choose to incorporate these herbs and amino acids into your diet, make sure to reach out to your physician to make sure that there will be no conflicting side effects. If you enjoyed this class, please visit my others at unshamed.co and the Visit My Classes and Products page. I will be adding classes soon all about amino acids and the book, The Diet Cure, that I have talked about in this class. So be on the lookout for that new class and any others. If you are ready to make changes in your own life and would like someone to coach you along, I'm waiting for you. When you're ready, go to my blog and click in the coaching tab. Make sure to reference my resources pages on my blog. Go to my homepage and you will see one for mental health, self-care, and healthy living. Here you will find many offers, both fun and helpful, on your journey. You can also find me on these social media sites. And feel free to email me with any questions you might have about this or any other mental health, self-care, or healthy living questions. On the bottom right-hand corner of each slide, you're going to find the sources that I used.